Production of immense possibilities is made possible by the generous support of the Earth and Humanity Foundation. Wendy Selden. Rogue Co-ops, a community-centered collaboration among the Ashland Food Co-op, the Grange Co-op, Rogue Credit Union, and the Medford Food Co-op. Cliff Bar and Company. Elizabeth York, and these additional members of the Immense Possibilities Community Builders Circle.
Every adult knows that the status quo is not good enough, that we have to get better, and we have to push beyond mediocrity.
The most exciting thing to me is that the kids do believe that they're special, and that we're interested, and that we're committed.
The kid I was before isn't the kid that's right here right now. And I'm really happy that Miss Berry got me introduced with it.
Because they see that kids have other needs, and they see that schools can't do everything that's needed.
And if someone's going, I don't know that I have much to offer, what do you have to say?
I think if you can get up each morning and you can move through the world, you have something to offer.
Welcome to our weekly visit with people who are creating immense possibilities for healthy communities, solutions to all kinds of challenges. Start a conversation about public education and how well our schools are preparing kids for life, and you might be starting an argument. Plenty of people will tell you our schools are doing a lot of things right, but pretty much nobody, and this holds true all the way up the education ladder, is really satisfied.
Every adult knows that the status quo is not good enough, that we have to get better, and we have to push beyond mediocrity. Where we fail to educate, where we don't do our job, we perpetuate poverty, we perpetuate social failure. I absolutely think this is the civil rights issue of our generation. We all need to do more, we all need to challenge the status quo, and we need to behave differently as we relate to each other. And I think you see people committed to doing that.
You're actually about to see a couple of them next to me at this table. They know that when Arnie Duncan says we all have to do more, he's not just talking about professional educators and not just about parents of current students. He's talking about all of us with a genuine concern for our community. My first guests have a real clear vision about what that can mean and how just about any of us can fit into the picture. They are Deanne Everson, Director of United Way of Jackson County, and Brian Shoemate, Superintendent of the Medford School District. Thanks to both of you for coming in, and welcome to Immense Possibilities.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for having me.
Brian, give us some context here. You took the helm of the Medford School District just a few months ago, about 13,500 students.
Right.
The statistics on high school completion in this district have not been inspiring. Talk about that and what some of the underlying factors are.
About 2/3 of our kids are graduating on time. About right at 67% are graduating in 4 years upon entering high school, which means 1/3 aren't, and that's a problem. So we were really looking at what are the root causes of that, to really change the school experience, to make kids each kid more affiliated with the entire school process. And I want every high school kid in a pathway, and hopefully to pursue a credential diploma where they can get dual credit, articulated credit, or some kind of industry certification while in high school, so that their high school experience becomes more relevant, and hopefully the kids will find more meaning in it.
Deanne, you've been looking at the statistics for a long time and decided this is a challenge that needs addressing. You and others had a big idea that is now called the big idea. What is it?
It is 100% high school completion for the class of 2020. I think the statistics are inspiring. Looking at them, they're pretty devastating. But it's a gigantic call to action and an opportunity to really create change in our community. And the school district's a great partner, and the kids are incredible.
So what's the core strategy of the big idea to 100% completion, the great goal?
So I'm convinced we don't need more programs in our community, but we do need to connect those that exist. So when we started, when the students were in 5th grade, and today they're in 7th grade, what we committed to doing was bringing together people and partnerships and existing services to create change and encourage and to build the possibility of high school completion for students, because we have to do that. We have to believe that we all have a role in this.
You decided to focus on 5th graders. They're 7 years out from graduation. Why fifth graders?
It's when kids individuate, it's when they see their hopes and dreams and their lives and the lives of their parents. And sometimes that's not really a positive picture. And so if the community can provide another picture, we can show the possibility that exists.
It's when kids start checking out of the process if they don't have a lot of supports and they don't see value in their school experience. At the fifth grade, I want to be able to say to them, when you go through middle school and then leading up to high school, you are going to be able to enter these pathways of interest to you and connect with kids of similar interests with caring adults around a mission, and then they would hopefully internally have a better chance. Now, with that comes the external mentorship.
The most exciting thing to me is that the kids do believe that they're special and that we're interested and that we're committed and that we're going to be there with them since fifth grade through their high school graduation. And I love that the district is already worried about where will they hold graduation, because there will be so many interested community people.
Nice problem to have, huh?
It's a good one.
So what does this engagement of the non-educational institutions look like? Give us some examples.
It looks like mentoring an individual student. It looks like tutoring. It looks like being a classroom aide. It looks like teaching a student how to play the guitar because you know how. It looks like doing outdoor leadership programs because you're learning them at SOU. It looks like getting kids glasses when they can't see. It looks like helping with food or with mental health therapy or with shoes or backpacks or school supplies. And we all have assets we bring just by being human. So it's about leveraging those.
So you're not going out and saying, here's specifically the kind of volunteers we need. You are saying to the community, bring us your strengths. What do you have to offer?
We're doing both.
How many students are you mentoring or engaging in this right now?
There are 1,086 in the 7th grade class in Medford and in Cave Junction, Oregon. The big idea encompasses both. There are 89 students in Cave Junction and the rest are in the Medford School District.
And do you have that many mentors?
No, not yet. Don't you want to do it?
You're looking, you may get me.
That'd be great.
You're still actively looking for mentors?
Always, every day.
And if someone's going, I don't know that I have much to offer, what do you have to say?
I think if you can get up each morning and you can move through the world, you have something to offer.
We know that if a kid's connected to a program, club, organization, caring adult throughout their school experience, especially as they enter high school, they got a better chance to graduate. Kids that are in the band for 4 years graduate better. Kids that are in specific curricular programs graduate in a much higher rate. So we want to create multiple pathways, whether it's guitar and all the arts, visual art, band, chorus, orchestra, theater, all the arts pathways, academic pathways, and then technical pathways for kids that want to connect. And whatever their learning styles are and what their interests are, we have a place for them to go.
I'm wondering if someone might be listening and watching and thinking this sounds a little fluffy, nice but a little fluffy, that we have some real hard-nosed problems in our community, substance abuse, some real poverty, nutritional issues, and that they really affect school completion and school performance. And really, how is the big idea going to help with that? What would you say to a skeptic like that?
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with being fluffy. I think it's okay to engage and inspire people by showing up. And that's the part we've let go of as a community. We haven't shown up as a community for our kids for a long time. We didn't get to 63% graduation when we started the big idea because the community was deeply committed and engaged. So I think call it what you want, show up, enjoy it, be a part of it, and make your decision as you engage. But it is enlightened self-interest to have a better educated community.
Talk about that a little more. Specifically, if I don't have a kid in the schools, I'm a member of the community, I care about the future. Why should I prioritize involvement in something like the big idea? Why should it be really important to me?
Well, I'll just make it personal. I don't have children and definitely don't have kids in the Medford schools or in Cave Junction schools. But what I care about from an enlightened self-interest standpoint is that as I grow older, I want a better educated community to take care of me and to take care of this community that I love. To increase our economy, to have a stronger business sector, to have and create the jobs we need, we have to have an educated workforce. And so at 1/3 of our students not completing high school is not moving towards that goal. And In reality, business not prospering doesn't advance social goals. So there's a keen motivation for us to make this work for everybody.
Deanne, as you've been rolling out the big idea, how's the community responding, especially those segments who haven't been very involved with schools before?
It's been remarkably well received with the school district, with the school board, with the businesses we've started to share it with. We didn't want to launch this movement without a track record. And so we've spent the last couple of years building up proof that we're committed and we're there. And people are liking it and engaging, and professionals came together just in December to do a big idea career fair, and accountants and bankers and an actor and people who, a recreational services director, different jobs to share with opportunities. And in fact, what we know for sure, especially for kids in our community, is opportunities are limited. They really are for some kids, but the possibilities are not.
How did the kids respond to the jobs fair?
Well, I was a door monitor, and so it was a real challenge to be in a room with 1,086 kids racing back and forth. What I know is they were running around, moving, learning. I talked to several students who said, I want to be an actor now, except for I didn't know you had to go to school. One of the young girls I spoke to wants to be a lawyer in the film industry because she spent time at the legal table and then went to the filmmaker table and realized those actually go together.
I love it. I love you have the beginnings of pathways here.
Right.
What has surprised you in the 2 or 3 years you've been involved now as this has unfolded?
I think the most exciting thing to me is the students believe us. And if we have no better victory than students know that they live in a community that cares about them, there's no better way to go, because they will in turn care about community.
So is this a reversal of the trend that has delegated social services and welfare services to the schools that they weren't meant to have in the first place?
I certainly hope so.
Have you run into any pushback at all? And I say that because we're in a time when there are people who are suspicious of the scope of schools and might say, just stick to your narrow mandate. Don't try to be messing with our kids. We don't want any social engineering or that kind of thing here. That kind of reaction. Have you heard anything like that?
What we've mostly heard is, why did you pick that class? What about my kid who's in this grade? What about this other grade? Why didn't you pick every single kid? And my answer is, we had to start somewhere. And we went to the professionals and we said, where do we start? And they told us that current 5th grade class. So our goal is to continue to learn, to be agile, to be flexible, to do what we can to make improvements as a community and to create the movement and the expectation that all kids do complete high school.
What would you suggest someone ask themselves as they're considering whether to step up as a mentor in this program?
What do I bring? Know what you can bring, and do that. Mm-hmm. Show up.
People don't mind giving up their time as long as they feel like it's useful and it's purposeful. And I think this gives it a purpose. And they will come in if you give them, if they first of all, what skill set do they have? 2 is what kind of time can they give? And it could be something as simple as the school that's closest to me. I would like to partner with someone there and help mentor a kid, and then let these folks help bring them together with the right student who needs that kind of mentoring. But these are busy folks, and they're going to take times out of their work week to come and help a kid. But it needs to be focused and not just walk in the door. What do you want me to do? They know what they want to do right away. And once that purpose is given, then I found people are very, very engaged in the process. Business folks and community partners.
Brian, can you see the big idea spreading far and wide all over the country?
Absolutely, I do. And not only will the kids benefit, but it really changes, again, the attitudes and behaviors of the adults involved. So if the community sees it's not just the school's responsibility to educate kids, it's all of our responsibility. Then internally, it's our job, all of our employees, to get the kids across the stage, by the end of the 12th grade. I think if those attitudes shift and we have the kind of success we're hoping for, yes, I think it's definitely something that could be replicated and will spread. People will want to know what's going on here. I don't see pitfalls other than changing people's attitudes and beliefs.
Brian, what do you see as the immense possibility of the big idea?
we can be a great school district, meaning I want to be the best in Oregon, and it's going to take an entire community effort around the public school district for that to happen. So that's an immense possibility. It's kind of the idea that if you reach for the stars, you may land on the moon.
And I believe that the immense possibility of our work is that we will build a community that believes that students complete high school.
Deanne Everson of United Way of Jackson County, Brian Shoemate, Superintendent of the Medford Schools, thanks for the work you're doing. Thanks for birthing the big idea. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And thanks for coming to tell us about it.
Thanks so much, Jeff.
Thank you for having us.
If the schools are all focused narrowly on testing, how have community schools grown? Well, they've grown because leaders external to schools are now partnering with schools in much more purposeful and strategic ways because they see that kids have other needs and they see that schools can't do everything that's needed.
One important player in Southern Oregon's big idea is Julie Berry, principal of a very rural school in Rouge, Oregon, that includes preschool to 8th grade. Also with us is Joby Ivano, a 7th grader in Rouge, who sits on the Big Idea Advisory Committee. Welcome to you both. Glad you could come to Immense Possibilities.
Thank you for having us.
Julie, what got you excited and involved in the Big Idea?
Well, the first time that I was introduced to Deanne Everson, I don't think she got through a whole paragraph about the Big Idea that I knew that I wanted to be a part of it. What she was doing was proposing some solutions to what has plagued every teacher in the past, presently, and I'm sure in the future, and that is, how do you teach a child how to do math, reading, and writing if they're coming to school hungry or if they're suffering some challenges in their personal life, those types of things that we're not in control of.
Now tell me honestly if all your teachers embraced this right at first.
It was a sigh of relief because, again, they've faced these challenges with these kids for years and not knowing where to turn and not knowing what resources were available to them. So now that they have the resources and the manpower, it makes their job easier.
Do you think all this integration makes it easier for everyone in the community to see they have a stake in their schools?
Oh, absolutely. We can log as many as 100 hours in 1 month with volunteers. And they know exactly what the school is doing, what their kids are actively participating in, and more times than not, the parent or the community member is also actively involved in that activity. So,
you did something at your school not too long ago called Otter Sky. Tell us about that.
So there's this individual, his name is Daniel Dancer, and he is an international artist, and he goes around to schools, and they identify an image that is, that's relevant to their community. Then he involves the children and the community members as the color palette. So we'll dress them up in a certain color t-shirt, and then they will place themselves in the image, like on a green field, and then Daniel Dancer will take video of that from about 100 feet up and talk about their sky sight and collaboration and all that type of thing. It's an amazing event.
What's the impact of a project like this?
Well, for Rouge School, it was another opportunity to actively engage the community. It was bringing the arts back that we, strive to do so every day while they're in school. And it was an opportunity for the kids to be involved in something that was kind of greater than themselves that they can take outside of the classroom.
Well, Joby, you tell us about this. You were actually part of a project called Cougar Sky, similar to Otter Sky. What was it like? What did you like about it?
Well, I liked everything about it. It was pretty sweet. The people got us in our place in a really nice manner, and the thing I could always remember is the guy going up on this thing and taking pictures down and us down there. And I was with all my buddies, and I had a great time. It was really fun.
Now, you originally got into the Big Idea because you were a 5th grader at the time that it started, but you've really gotten involved in it. You're part of the committee that kind of figures this out as you go. Tell us about that. What are you doing?
Well, I just attend the meetings. I talk for the 7th graders. So what they want, I talk for them, and they get what they want.
Well, you're a pretty good voice. I might want to use you for my voice.
When other people are talking, people keep talking, but when I get up there, everyone goes silent, and that makes me feel really good about myself, and it makes me special, feel special.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, probably because I'm the youngest person, I think, in the Big Idea Committee, and maybe that's why.
Why do you think the Big Idea is important?
Well, it puts a spotlight on the kids, and they're going to work harder if they have the spotlight on them. So, and if they work harder, then that means they probably will graduate high school.
Do you think that the big idea has changed you at all?
Oh yeah, it changed me a lot. It helps me make better decisions. The kid I was before isn't the kid that's right here right now, and I'm really happy that Miss Berry got me introduced with it, and I'm really lucky to be part of it.
Do you think that this has put into focus any of your goals or plans for the future?
Yeah, it's continue to follow my dream of being an author, and I probably would have gave that up by now, but they're encouraging me to keep it going, and I'm keeping it going.
Well, do you think you could ask for some mentoring or some advice about writing, and they'd find someone in the community to help with that?
They could, but if they want, maybe I'll ask them that, but that's a good.
Ask them that and get back to me.
I will, I promise.
You know, it's amazing because, and Joby has done this on several occasions, but I've also had a couple of kids come to me and they've offered suggestions for their peers. So, for instance, somebody came to me and said, do you think the big idea could help one of the students that we have who lives with cerebral palsy? Do you think they could help them with some, some assistance in the classroom? And so they're looking out for each other, which I think is a great thing that's coming out of this.
Have you been surprised at the way people in your area have stepped up to volunteer for this program?
I am not surprised because I think everybody wants to help, but they don't know how to. And what the United Way is offered them vehicles and avenues in which they can actually, get involved.
And have their time well used.
Absolutely.
Joby, if there's somebody watching right now who says, this looks kind of interesting, I might want to look into it to volunteer, but I'm not sure I do a good job, or, I don't really teach anything, so maybe I won't. What would you say to them?
No, I would say no. Please, we need all the people we can get, because you don't have to be smart to be in the big idea. You just have to help us do the thing, and like the things we do for the kids, like get them the materials they need, put the spotlight on them, get the meetings to go, and all that stuff. Like I would say, please join, because we need whoever we can get.
Is there anything else at all you'd like to say to folks out there?
I'd like to say something to all my friends. I just hope they continue their dreams and graduate high school and go to college.
Wow, Joey Ivano and Julie Berry from the Rouge School, thank you very much for sharing your experiences with us on Immense Possibilities.
Thank you for having us.
I see trees of green and red roses too. I'll watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
We're just an ordinary, goofy couple. What does ordinary even mean these days? We live in extraordinary times. We met during our MBA program, discovered that we both love costumes, and the rest was history.
One day, we got an unlikely email asking us to come to DC to get arrested for climate change. Wow, we were passionate about the state of the world, so we went, and we got arrested in front of the White House, along with students, moms, retirees, your typical revolutionaries. Our eyes were opened to the fact that we weren't extremists. We were just people trying to set things right, just like in the civil rights era and in so many movements before.
Just like in those other struggles, the most amazing people alive, the thinkers, the dreamers, the artists, are all on the right side of history, and you can be too. Because in your heart of hearts, you know that climate is a huge issue, and you want to do more about it.
And it's easy to feel like it's just too big, like it's out of your control. And that's why we created the Hero Hatchery as a mechanism to directly fund activists and turn the tide of history.
How are we going to do it? A fellow, weekly trainings, a funnel of actions, and an awesome PR team. First, we're going to support one incredible young climate activist. We did a nationwide search to find someone that could break through to the mainstream audience. Her name is Lauren Wood. She's been working incredibly hard with one of the boldest climate organizations, Peaceful Uprising. When not fighting for her future, she is a server in a restaurant. We feel so fulfilled working on this issue, and we're just tickled to be able to open the invitation for you to join us. Invest in this movement, in this program, and in Lauren. If you do, you'll never be the same. That's what's been true for us.
And someday our children and our children's children will look at us in the eye and they'll ask us, did we do all that we could when we had the chance to deal with this problem and leave them a cleaner, safer, more stable world? And I want to be able to say, yes, we did. Don't you want that?
And that's it for this edition of Immense Possibilities. You can find out more, give us your suggestions about Immense Possibilities at immensepossibilities.org, or go to Facebook and share and like our page there. I'm Jeff Golden. Thanks very much for watching, and until next time, please do what you can do. Thanks for watching to learn about tonight's Immense Possibility. You can watch any of our past programs anytime at immensepossibilities.org.